traders and investors alike will be green tomorrow. Hope I'm green tomorrow. It's going to be a huge week, very busy week. So we have one of two out of, 4 times a year, we have 2 weeks that are just nuts, just absolutely crazy with earnings. This is one of them. We also have some really important economic news. So let's go over that real quick. We got a lot to cover. So not a lot going on Monday. Tuesday, you have consumer confidence. You have some home sales, wholesale inventories, retail inventories on Wednesday. We also have the big Fed rate decision. We also have Big Daddy Fed Pals press conference. So that is all trade opportunities there. That's just wild. We know how to trade that. We will be live. We will have that live. Like usual, then we have GPD on Thursday, initial jobless claims, PMI at 9:45 on Friday. We have personal income, personal spending. So we have a lot there going on. Let's look at the earnings. So on Monday, we have NXP. This is important because it's another semiconductor company. So we watch that for reactions with our semiconductors that we watch, AMD, NVDA, Micron. Tuesday, we have ups, Coca-Cola, GM, GE, McDonald's. So that's a big lineup there in the morning. Alphabet, we have Microsoft, Visa. I'm seeing all kinds of names I didn't even underline. You even got Skechers, Boyd Gaming, Shopify on Wednesday, Boeing on Wednesday, Spotify on Wednesday. I did the earnings research for Boeing in the Discord. It's a lot of interesting stuff in there. A lot of interesting stuff. We can see a lot of orders coming in. That's most likely they're going to affect the next earnings. This earnings, a lot of supply chain issues, but read that information. There's a lot of really good stuff in there highlighting the 3 months that they've had and things that have happened in 3 months and things that they were concerned about in those 3 months period that we're going to be seeing the earnings on. So we have Spotify, Sherwood Williams, Tech. I'm not sure. You have Kraft Heinz, Meta, Ford, Qualcomm, Teladoc, Estes. We get players on all those. They're all scalpable moves during the earnings. Tilray, Piffer, Baxter, Valero, Southwest, MasterCard, Merck, Peabody. That's coal, BTU. So we have Apple, Amazon, Roku, Intel, ExxonMobil, Chevron, Avi, Phillips 66. So a very busy week with economic data, a very busy week with the earnings, a lot of catalysts this week. All right, so now let's go to the charts. We're combining the usual day list with a few extra charts I wanted to go over. That way I can do one video instead of two. We'll see you at the charts. All right, so we have AMC. We pulled back below the 20 on Friday. Actually, I'm sorry, we pulled back below the 9 on Friday. 20 support. The 9 would be resistance. MACD's trying to roll over. Crude could not take this support level out, or this resistance level out, and is now pulling back. Your 9 is support as of now. If we can get below this 9, I'll move down to the 200. Bitcoin, we are actually over this 200 right now. The 9 is still an issue. So we're actually below the 9, above the 200 there. Bitcoin's trying to push. That candle closes at 6. So by the time you see this video, that candle will be closed. Hopefully it can hold above that 200. That 9's a whole nother issue. The put to call ratio, we are back into the bearish zone. This tells us people were opening up some hedges just in case this week doesn't go so well, coming into the FOMC meeting and the earnings. All right, so this is the oscillators for the Nasdaq. We're at a 147, cooled off, still a little warm, much cooler. The New York Stock Exchange at 156, definitely better than what we were. The dollar has been pulling back. This MACD, I'm actually starting for the first time, starting to get bearish on this. If we can get below this 20, I would expect to move down to the 50. That would be great for the market. Crude pulling back, the dollar pulling back would be really, really good. All right, the VIX, we have this downtrend here. We are below the 200. But we're outside of the Bollinger Bands. We dipped outside that Bollinger Bands and pulled back in. We're a little extended down here. I would not be surprised to get a move back to the 200, just to retest the 200, and then hopefully we can see another downside. I like the VIX around 19. That seems to work the best for the market and the style of trading that we're, trading as the way we've been trading. We can keep the VIX at 18, 19 would be great. You can see the VIX 15-minute here. Looks like MACD tried to push up. Looks like it wants to cross bearish and give us some more downside. I would not be surprised to see it move back up to that 200 just for a retest. Natural gas has been on a tear. We put the UNG chart back on here. It should have been on here, to be honest. So this is our trend indicator. So we are still showing a bullish short-term trend. Let's see where we go this week, see how we open tomorrow. Futures will be open here soon as well. I probably should have waited for that, then did the video. You can see the medium-term trend. You can see the bearishness coming out of it. Still pretty bearish for the long-term trend. This is the breadth chart, and this is telling us basically participation. This tells us that the New York Stock Exchange, that 22.63%, so 22% of the stocks in the New York Stock Exchange are above their 200 moving average. Not the greatest. 50% is above the 50 moving average. A little bit better. We're trying to push up here. Now for the S&P 500, 22% once again below or above the 200 MA, but we do have 54.20%, so 54%. So 56% is above the 50 MA. So that's improving on the 50s. We are seeing an improvement. So we have Apple here, under the 200 right there. So Apple's one of the ones we were just looking at. This thing has been on a tear. Remember, Apple can do this. That's like a 13-day run that we caught right there. 12, 13 days straight green days. That does not happen all the time. You can see we pushed. We did pull back. We pulled back a little on Friday, but we didn't give a whole lot back. I would love to see a reconnect to this 9, and so we could do some buy the 9 strategy. AMD. So we have this gap above. We need to keep our eye on that. So we did take the 50 out, and we lost it. Seagate reported and bad earnings, another chip manufacturer, and it kind of pulled semis back Friday. The whole market pulled back Friday, but we were also overbought, so we knew that. So it's not that big of a deal to have an off day. I mean, look how far extended we are here. So I would not mind to see another inside day or two, and we usually get those on Monday. A lot of chop. Monday they like to start chopping in premiums right at the beginning of the week. You can see AMD. This is AMD's weekly chart. So we did take this 9 out, but we ended up pulling back under the 9. So right now the 9 is resistance. We're pinned right up against this 9 on the weekly chart. So we could actually see a pullback. Wondering, I'm kind of curious where tomorrow's candle will be open. So the one good thing is this candle did close over top of this candle, so it's kind of putting in a new high. So hopefully we can continue in this uptrend. Affirm, we had a big pullback Friday on this one, but we were extended outside the Bollinger Bands, had a nice push, got outside the Bollinger Bands, so we needed to come back in, and we needed to try to get regain the 9. I would like to see one more day of chopping around. Honestly, that's not what I want. I would love to see a nice trending day, but for overall market health, a nice sideways day, an inside day would be great to let this 9 catch up a little more. Like I say, I would love to let these 9s catch up. That way we can do some buy the 9 strategies. So you can see a firm's 15-minute chart here. It pushed right up into this resistance level and sold Friday. A lot of stuff sold Friday. AMC, you can see AMC had a big sell on Friday. The market was just weak. We were overbought. We also had Snap earnings, which are going to weigh on Facebook. AMD here, we are below the 200 on the 15. If the market can keep improving like it is, so we have Amazon. We pull back Friday. We have this resistance level coming up. All right, so if the market earnings can come in, and the market can hold up like this, the market's been shrugging a lot of stuff off. So maybe we can continue this uptrend. Stocks like Amazon come down here and they put in a really nice base. This is a nice base here to be breaking up. If we can break up out of this area and push up, now we have this gap up here, but if we can push up, some of these stocks are breaking out of some really nice bases if they push up. You can see Apple's 15-minute chart. Friday wasn't a big sell-off for Apple, not like some of the other ones. You can see Apple's weekly chart. So we took the 9, so we're already above the 9. We took the 20 out. The 50-day is the next major area of resistance for Apple. We need to get above this 50-day. This is going to act as a resistance level until we do. Look at this MACD wanting to pinch right here. This is a good sign. Apple looks like it has a lot more gas in the tank. Earnings are going to be a huge deal. They're expecting a beat. Go to the earnings channel or inside the Discord and make sure you check out all the earnings estimates on those estimate tags I posted. I posted 10 of them for 10 of the biggest movers this week. Kind of gives you an idea of what the analysis are thinking and what the estimates are. Another thing with Apple, will they mention the car? Maybe give a real guidance. There's a couple things there that could be, Apple could really do better. They need to start doing a real guidance. They do a phone call, but they don't do a real guidance. So Beyond Meat, this thing's been on fire as well. Broke out this nice flag, it's been pushing up. Would like to see it cool off, come back down, touch the 9. Look at your RSI. A little oversold or overbought there. Still plenty of gas in that MACD. MACD looks good, showing plenty of relative strength. Bitcoin above the 50 on the daily. That's another really good sign for Bitcoin. Seeing because Bitcoin's considered a risk asset, and seeing these names above these levels, Bitcoin getting above the 50, getting above that 200, that 9 on the weekly chart is going to be the next big level. Hopefully we can push up through it and this market will hold. Boeing, did earnings research on Boeing. Make sure you go in and read all that. There's a lot of information there to give you an idea. If you're interested in playing earnings on Boeing, it's a gamble, but at least you have good information, so you have an idea of what they have been doing, orders they've got coming in. How many of those orders are on this earnings, and how many. It's also good to know. You make a note how many of those orders we're seeing will be on the next earnings reports. Obviously, those planes won't be delivered, but down payments, will be made. But you can see we didn't have a huge pullback on Friday like a lot of other names, but we did dip below the 200 there on the 15. BTU, it's another one. It's a coal name. They have earnings this week. This is Peabody. Right now, we're below all our major moving averages, except for our 200s down here, which acted as resistance or support once. But we're below the 9, the 20, and the 50 there. So, if I'm below the 9, I'm bearish. We need to get, that name needs to get back above those levels. Chewy, I'm still watching Chewy. As long as we hold this support level, hold the 9 here, this 200's resistance, you can see we pushed into it and then got snatched back. But I would like to see this push up. There's room to trade it from here up to the 200. I would like to see this name push and take that 200 out. I used to swing trade Chewy all the time. Did really well with Chewy. You can see the big push on Friday, and then it just got destroyed on the downside. I'm still bullish on costs. We had this bottom ascending triangle. We pushed up, come back for a pullback. Another rip here. Right now we put this little base in. We're working our way up out of this little base. Walmart and Target's, those charts look decent as well. Dollar Tree, I'm still bullish. As long as we're above this 9, we're coming into a resistance level. There's a good chance that we can push up above that. We've had one day that had some news on it, and then Friday was just a bad day in the market. EA, this is another chart, showed a lot of strength that I found going through charts. We were watching this name on some news previously, and then after the news, it just kind of calmed down. Come back to life here, back above your 9, your 20, your 50. So you're trying to get above your 200. Your MACD looks good. If this can hold above this 200, the one thing I don't like is the Bollinger Bands are not opening up for this candle. And it's got 2 days. This candle run into it, and they still didn't open up. This candle pushed in, they're still not trying to open up. So let's keep an eye on them Bollinger Bands, and if we hold that 200, see if we can get some more upside on that one. ExxonMobil, we had this on Oxy and Exxon, had this little inverted head and shoulders, not a perfect pattern. Didn't really get a push Friday. Had a bad day in the market for everybody, just about. GME pushed up. They've done the split. GME has pulled back, still holding this 200 back under the 9. As long as we hold that 200, I'll try to remain bullish. I like to see it get back above the 9. The Qs, so we had this bottom ascending triangle that we broke out of last week, and this was posted in the Discord over the weekend, and we got this nice push up. The first candle, Monday's candle, didn't take it out. Tuesday's candle, we breached the pattern and continued to push up. We got outside the Bollinger Bands. We pulled back Friday. We've talked about that. The whole market pulled back Friday. Still chart still looks good right here. Just looks like it needed to cool off a little bit. Kind of wait on the 9 to catch up. Like to see them, an inside day or two would be the healthiest thing for the market. If we rip either way, I'll take it. I'm going to take advantage of the daily opportunities. So you got the Qs here, 15-minute chart. We pull back under the 200 on the 15. So that is a resistance level. You can see the Qs here on the weekly chart. Last week we had a decent week. The previous week was, we traded nicely, closed right back where we opened at. 20 here would be the next level resistance at 312.90. We are approaching that level here. So if we push back up this week, 312.90 is a resistance level that we need to keep an eye on. So the bonds gapped up on Friday while the rest of the market was pulling back. We did get a nice gap up on the bonds, but we didn't get a big candle, basically just a little spinning top here. So not a very big range, but we did gap up. IBB, we had this double bottom. Got this play, we pushed up, we've come back, retested here. Normally I would say we're going to retest and push up. We got this big down candle Friday back below the 9. This just happened at a bad time because, so we got a high, a low. We basically just put in a lower high. Unless we can push back up like tomorrow, I'm going to say we got downside coming in. Just putting in a lower high. I know we had a bad day on Friday, but putting in that lower high right there, tells me we may have some downside. That the health sector may be cooling off. That has something to do with everybody going after tech right now and growth stocks. IWM, you see we pushed right into this downtrend on Friday and pulled back. That's in the weekly candle. So last week's candle pushed up, and where we pulled back on Friday, that it pulled back away from the 9. One thing to keep an eye on there, I just noticed that, making sure we got that trend line right there drawn right. Did we close back below that trend line? It's very possible. So that could be a major level of resistance there. IWM, we pulled back Friday. I like the way the moving averages are coming in. Even the 50's trying to turn up there. I like those moving averages coming up underneath that price action. MACD looks decent. You can see the 15-minute chart. We're getting right back into our levels. We had so many lines on the chart, I said I wasn't going to draw anymore, and I just started putting these price tags on. But we're running right back into those levels, and you can see how well those levels are working. Mara. So we were bullish on Mara last week. We had a huge move. We basically, I seen this volume coming into it here and added it to the chart for Tuesday, or added it to the list for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we had a really nice push Frank was able to get a hold of this and made a really good trade on this. Moved fast for him. Really good trade. Bearish volume on Wednesday. Thursday we pushed back up, and then Friday we pulled back. I'd like to see this. If this will hold here, wait for this 9 to catch up. We probably get another push, especially if Bitcoin continues to push. Now, if Bitcoin struggles with that 9 on that weekly, we're going to have some issues. MRO definitely have a gap up here to keep an eye on. So you can see we keep trying to push into this gap. That's resistance. Not a huge sell-off Friday. Trading pretty flat there. Merck. So Merck has been seeing some downside. Merck is now below this 50 here. And as long as we stay below this 50 with these moving averages come down, you already know I'm bearish. This MACD is crossed to the downside. I would look for a move down. We could watch this area here. Looks probably support in this area here. It's a big move down. Not sure if we'll get that much of a move down, but we'll have to see. Right now, I do think we will see a move down. You can see the Bollinger Band rolling for the price action. That's that worried me about that one chart. You don't see the Bollinger Bands reacting to the candles, and a lot of times when it happens, you don't get to move. Not always, but sometimes you just simply don't get to move. Meta, I don't even know what to say. They pulled back on Snap's earnings. This is the weekly chart, was looking so good. We had took this wedge out. The 9's coming down. We were strong above, had a really strong candle above all those levels, and it snatched back big time on Snap's earnings. I've been hearing a lot of people say that it's probably a buy the dip opportunity. They said that the first time. We're going to start using the term trade the dip, not buy the dip, but trade the dip. I'm not sure. I would wait to see what their earnings are and how they react. My opinion, if they guide down one more time, you're going to see them get crushed. We'll probably be heading down to the 150 area. And you can see the big gap down and pull back. But we're right back to the moving averages. We're still on the, if you extended this line out, we are still above the downtrend or the wedge. So that's a good sign. We're right on the moving averages, the 9 and 20 are support. So we could still get a move up there. A lot depends on earnings. You can see we had the big gap down and they still sold it. I really thought that they may try to come for it. You can see some wick action here at open, but it didn't last long and they just sold it. Microsoft's been showing some weakness here. We barely got above these downtrends and then just got shoved right back into it on that action on Friday. Ever since Microsoft has done since they announced that they're going to be laying people off and slowing hiring, it's just not been good for them. You can see they're below the 200 here on the 15. Almost looks like we want to roll and give some more downside there. See what the MACDs look like in pre-market. Tomorrow, you can see Microsoft, we're below the 9 here on the weekly. Just not looking good there for it. Moderna, I'm still bearish on Moderna. I said when we broke below this 9 that I was bearish on Moderna. We're still this downtrend, this resistance level. If we take that out to the upside, if we can take this downtrend out, this trend line, I would be bullish again. But as for now, it looks like we want to roll. A lot of healthcare names are pulling back, and Moderna is kind of a one-trick pony. MRO, we're chopping around here, holding this 200, holding the support level right now. All right, this is Netflix. This chart's gotten interested. We have this big gap coming up. So we were able to take this trend out. Was not the best on earnings, but you know what? The market liked it. That's what matters. It doesn't matter what we think. Our opinions they just don't matter. It matters what the market wants. So the market likes Netflix. We're going to be watching Netflix. We are outside the Bollinger Bands here. Even the bad day on Friday, we didn't get a very big pullback. I would like to see this pullback, let the 9s catch up, and then, or let the moving averages catch up for a move up. But we got to get back inside them Bollinger Bands. Watch that gap if we do go up. So NCLH, we said it, we took this downtrend out. It looked really good. We had airlines, they had guided up, the airlines guided back down, and cruise lines got crushed with it. I'm not sure. I don't think they did earnings. It's been, we've done so many now, so much is going on that it's hard to remember every single name. This is the New York FANG Index, and let's keep in mind there's more names in here than just Apple. Twitter's in here. There's several names in the FANG Index. It's not just Apple and Tesla. So we got this little ascending triangle here. We tried to break up. We're coming back, retesting it now. We could really use a push up. There's some names, like Tesla's running, but there's some names that's been pulling back. Oxy. You can see Oxy here. We tried to take out this level. There's a resistance level here for this. We had got this inverted head and shoulders here. We tried to take this level out and end up getting pulled back below it. All right, Oxy daily chart. Still a decent looking chart here. Putting in a nice base here at a support level. This 50 here is resistance. We need to get above this 50, and I do believe Oxy will push if we can get above that level. But we have to get above the 50 for Oxy to push. That's a huge level for it. Palantir, I liked Palantir. We got this breakout of this little base here. I thought we would get a nice push up. Friday come along, pulled us back in. But if you look there, the Bollinger Bands really wasn't opening up for that candle. We did get a pinch though. So the 15-minute chart for Palantir, you can see the big pullback on Friday. Some names pull back much harder. Qualcomm, I like Qualcomm. We posted this over a week ago, said we were bullish on it, and it has just ran. I'd like to see it base here above this 200 and let this 9 catch up. A lot of it's going, we got other names, semi-names reporting earnings this week, and they're going to weigh on some of the names that we watch. Roblox, I'm still bullish on this. We pull back as long as we hold the pattern, holding the 9. I'm still bullish. I would like to see this push up. I think this name has some gas in the tank, but we have to take out this pattern before deploy any money. Tradable, CRM. This thing, it was getting chewed up here in this wedge, end up breaking it to the downside, got a false breakout and ripped up. And that happens a lot with patterns. You'll get a false breakout and then it'll rip up. But we're outside of the pattern here. It's put an inside day in at the Bollinger Band. Makes sense, waiting on the 9 to catch up. Bad day Friday. So CRM got hit a little bit. You see it's been trading pretty flat the last 2 days, and we can see it in the daily candles. SoFi, big pullback on Friday to 15, but you can see right here, remember these levels were drawn, we're coming back into levels we had previously drawn. You can see the resistance right here, 2 days worth of resistance, rate 3 days, 1, 2, 3, right at a level that we've been pointing out. So you basically your 704, your 705 levels resistance. 7, I would look at that as a zone from 7 to 705. SoFi daily pulling back. As long as we're above these moving averages, you got your 9 and your 50 and your 20s coming up. I'll remain bullish as long as we're above those moving averages. Now the SPY weekly chart. This is huge. So you can look at this as a falling wedge. I really don't like it as a wedge, honestly. It's a falling wedge, but it's not perfect. It's not textbook. I wish it had more wedge, like right there when we were watching this falling wedge and we got that breakout. This is exactly what we got here. Just a bigger pattern. The bigger the pattern, the bigger the move it can give you. So we closed outside of this level, and now unless we get this trend line closed above the 9 as well, unless we get a huge gap down in the morning, this next candle is going to open up and confirm above those levels. So that puts the 20 to 409 level at the next target. Now your 20 is going to move down a little bit, just like your 200 is going to continue to move up. So I still think it's possible, depending on how the market acts Wednesday and on these earnings reports. I still think the 200 is possible. I would love to get back above the 50. I do believe if we get above the 50, it's over. It all depends on the recession and these numbers being released, how the market acts with these numbers being released on Wednesday, and these earnings, of course. You can see gap pretty much filled on Friday. Maybe a little piece of a gap left. You can see Thursday's levels worked fine for Friday. So if you were looking for resistance, you shouldn't have been in any calls until you got above those levels right there anyway. So if you got hit, well, that's why. And then we pulled back down to a support level to Friday's support and bounced off of that. So that right there could have been a play breaking back above that 200. May not have paid a lot, but there's money there to be made. Got this little wedge symmetrical triangle here on XLK, which is the tech sector for the S&P 500. We've had a nice push here. We took this downtrend out, put an inside day in, which is needed. Friday, we know what happened Friday. That inside day was needed. Let these moving averages catch up. I really hope we get a decent inside day tomorrow as well. For market health, I would love to see the market rip in either direction, and so I can trade it. But for market health, I would like to see it chop. Tesla, so we're still holding the 9. We're under the 20 is resistance on the weekly. That weekly MACD wants to pinch. When you get a weekly MACD pinch, and you usually get a decent sized move. Tesla's daily chart, we even pushed up and pulled back. So it looks like we basically closed at the previous day's close. Tesla's 15-minute chart, you can see we ripped Thursday. That was earnings play. It still got some upside on it Friday, and then we pulled right back. Pretty much right back to the same levels, though. So we found support at the pre-market levels. This is why I get asked all the time. You know, apparently there's traders out here who are telling people that pre-market levels are not important. I think they are. We see stocks play, assets play to these levels on a daily basis. They are important. Make sure, even if you're turning them off, making sure you're looking at them. I've done a video talking about how to build your own bullish and bearish list by using your pre-market levels. Twitter, I like this chart. We're above the 50 here, putting in a little base. This 9's on its way up. Lawsuit, a lot of stuff going on there, coming in earnings, just a lot of stuff going on here. But it had a strong day Friday when a lot of other stuff pulled back. So let's keep an eye on Twitter. If we can break out of this little tabletop here, we can push up. UNG, 15-minute chart. You can see this thing's been on a tear. Joe's been killing it with it. Good job. You can see UNG, just nice cup action back above the 50 here. I would like to see a pullback to the 50 and then continue to push is what I would like to see. Getting a little extended there from the 9. Steady gapping up, close some of them gaps. Upstart, bearish on Upstart right now. I'm sorry, but we broke out this wedge to the downside. So basically a low, we put it, pushed up to put in a higher, a lower high. I'm expecting to put in a lower low. We'll see how that works out. You can see Upstart, big move down on Friday. Some of these may need, even if we do pull back, some of these, we made a big move on Friday. We may have to chop just to kind of see where things want to go. Wells Fargo, I like the banks right now. Goldman Sachs is just about the best in breed right now. You can see we've been trading pretty flat on them, waiting for the moving averages to catch up. And this is the XLF. I just put this chart on here to point out that we're coming into this gap. This gap's resistance. We did pull back Friday. This chart's looking good as well. This is a double bottom breakout here. So you got your double bottom right here. I should have drawn this out. You can look at this as a neckline right here. You have broken a neckline here. This is a double bottom. Here, let's draw it real quick. So just like that. I'm not going to take time to draw the box, but I can tell that it's working. Even if we come to the top of this gap, that'll work just fine because we have a wick touching it. Use that as a neckline. This gap's in the way. Got to take that gap out. So let's keep an eye on these banks. Their earnings are pretty much done. Probably some smaller banks still left to report, but the big 6 are done. And the market shook off the 4 that bad earnings to good earnings. The market shook it off. ExxonMobil right into resistance here. We did take it out and got You know, we ended up gapping down the next day, pushed back up Friday. You know, we looks like we tried to push up and then we ended up pulling back. So, but I do like these moving averages right here. You know, I need to see them start trying to turn up, but I like them coming together, but I need to see them turning up. So you can see ZIM here. This thing just made a crazy move down. I couldn't find any news on it, but when I seen this chart, you know, that would have paid the bills right there. You know, just simply knowing, all right, we just got below the 200. You know, this candle opened below the 200, pulled down. When this candle opened below that resistance level, just a major move down. That definitely would have paid the bills. And that concludes our video for today. Sorry that's a little long. I'll see you in the trading room. Let's get that bread.